Mrparka here to review P.O.E. Project of Evil. This is actually a sequel that I did not know. All three are, there's three of them, they're anthologies, and they basically tackle Edgar Allan Poe's stories in short story form by independent filmmakers. This one is released by Brain Damage, and like I said, this is the second one, and this unique take, cases beat the hell, this unique take follows Italian filmmakers doing it, speaking English in here. The stories in here are The Pit and the Pendulum, Solo, Loss of Breath, The Murders in Rue Morgue, The Telltale Heart, The System of Dr. Tar and Professor Feather, and The Premature Burial. And I have read some Poe, but I have not read all these stories. But I noticed they definitely took some liberties with these stories, because I don't understand The Telltale Heart, really, how it related to the actual story necessarily. But the Pit and the Pendulum is about a psychopath in a room, essentially, and it just kind of, he goes nuts in this. He starts to visualize things in a giant white room, a hole opens in the ground. That one has a decent performance, and there's a digital effect in there, a CGI effect monster in there, and he actually looks pretty cool. He's practical mixed with CGI, and he actually looks pretty cool. So that one, it was pretty decent, just a very simple 10-minute story about an insane person kind of hallucinating and things like that in some sort of medical experiment. Solo falls, this one was, you know, the acting in this one's pretty shaky. I thought kind of cheesy. This follows a guy getting back at a pair of people he dislikes, but there's of course a twist to it all. The special effects in this one are really gory and nasty, and they work fairly well, but the acting's shaky in this one. In the Solo. The Loss of Breath, this one follows a porn star who's trying to get into the acting business, and this one's unique because it's in black and white, and at first it's a silent film, and he loses his voice halfway through, you know, either from stress or something like that, and he starts to have a, you know, like a narrative structure. Then he starts to speak. You can hear him as the audience after he loses his voice, which is kind of a cool twist on this. The ending's kind of crazy. There's another twist. I'm not sure what the hell was going on there. But these movies all are not afraid to show male nudity, female nudity, gratuitous violence, and things like that. They're kind of all-out hardcore films in a lot of ways, as far as horror films are concerned. But this one, you know, has a couple unique things in here about, like I said, the switcheroo on there with the voice and stuff I kind of enjoyed. But that one becomes a decent one. The Murders in Rue Morgue is a really nasty one, to be honest. It's about this guy sleeping with these couple prostitutes, and I guess you get the monkey see, monkey do approach, and the monkey decides to do something similar, you know, with a razor blade, and ends up having sex with some of the prostitutes. Really gross, really weird. This one's really nasty, bestiality type thing in there, and the gore effects again are good. This one's just kind of one of those ones that you're just like, this is pretty nasty stuff, and you want to see it to believe it. But I guess I'll give that one passing because it's just so damn gross and bizarre and weird. And then of course we have The Telltale Heart. Like I read that story and I really didn't grasp how this fit exactly, but not exactly, but maybe I just missed something. But this one seems to follow this prostitute in some sort of area like Thailand or Singapore. This you know, this kind of older male prostitute who's all grizzled out, and he ends up sleeping with there's a gratuitous sex scene in there. He actually has a gratuitous homosexual sex scene, which is kind of odd. You don't typically see. It's not super gratuitous. You don't see any penetration or anything like that. But it's a man being screwed by another man in a prostitute way. Kind of it's weird because it's an older man and things like that. It's just something you don't typically see in a film, especially a horror film. But this one's really artistically done, and it has a lot of weird things going on. And I liked how it was shot, and I kind of just, it's a really well-made short. I'll give it that much. I did kind of like this one. I thought this one was unique and different, and really weird as well. A lot of these are very strange shorts, and just really bizarre stuff in the same time, but they're really, a lot of them are artfully done, as no matter how gratuitous or disgusting they actually turn out. The System of Dr. Tar and Professor Feather, that one was decent as well. It's an insane asylum, but really who's the crazy one and who's a patient and who's not. Also in black and white. This one I thought was decent. Again, the acting comes across a little shaky because it's Italian speaking English and it's not their first language. So that one's okay. And the final one, The Premature Burial, not much going on here except the very, very ending, which is all Fulci'd out. Definitely a big inspiration to Fulci zombies and the music and everything. It will remind people of the Beyond and things like that. But that was very cool to see. I dug that. You know, the Italians still got some love for Fulci in there. But all in all, man, this is kind of just a unique blast of films that's really weird and artfully, but also kind of maybe loopholey and just confusing at points, but sort of well made. I mean, no holds barred for sure. I think that a lot of people, you know, will get a kick out of it. If you can find it for a good price, then I say check it out. I mean, it's really kind of cool stuff here. Like I said, I wasn't at a disadvantage because I've only read a couple of these stories, but after seeing what the Telltale Heart was compared to the actual story, I really think that I wasn't missing too much without reading all these Poe stories beforehand. But yeah, that is P.O.E, A Project of Evil. There'll be links, information below where you want to see more about it if you want to buy it. But yeah, I kind of enjoyed it in a kind of a weird sort of way. But Mrparka, have a good one.
What?